Ecstatic Bliss. Secrets to living a juicy life. Namaste, my loves. Welcome to Ecstatic Bliss. Secrets to living a juicy life. I think actually when you listen really the intro, you will always get this twice, but it's good to hear it as often as possible so you get really into a more vibrant and high frequency vibe. Although I actually have a lot of new insights and also a lot of new realizations about ecstatic bliss. So maybe I make also an update about bliss and ecstatic states, because it's also up to our judgment in a way. But anyways, coming to our topic today, dating your higher self. I chose that topic and the title especially to make it a little bit more juicy, because we're here with the secrets to living a juicy life. And sometimes I know that from myself, when it goes into things we feel like, oh, this is something I want to integrate, I want to learn, I want to study, I want to research, I want to dig deeper, or maybe I feel there's some healing needed. Sometimes it gets so tense and we kind of maybe even feel under pressure to change something. And it should actually also make fun. I remind myself always also again and again, if it gets too serious, drop it for a while or take a break, take a deep breath even maybe, and then continue with a much more settled, peaceful and curious way into the topic, whatever occupies you at the moment. Dating your higher self is something that I feel everyone should do, because it's in a way like dating your own best version, your higher self version. So maybe for all that we are on the same page, and probably I can imagine you already have your idea about what is actually the higher self. Just my opinion and my view currently about the higher self. It is, as I see it, like a gateway between your soul, your fracture of consciousness, so to say, although if we take another perspective, we are everything, we are the whole consciousness itself. But if you look at this fractured aspect of we are one soul aspect, one soul, it's your direct connection to God consciousness, to higher consciousness, to the divine, to the universe, whatever word you want to choose. So it's like really, if you compare it to the internet, in a house or even in a bigger house in a company, we have routers to route the signal from the main company that distributes the signal out to all rooms or all offices. So the gateway is in a way also exactly doing this. It navigates, it channels messages from the super consciousness, from the all-encompassing consciousness down to you, to your soul, so you can receive and decipher the messages. Like little impulses you get in form of inner voices, of inner images, of sensations, body sensations, but also outside through synchronicities especially, or little signs, little words, little things you come across repetitively, maybe even, then it's even more impactful. So in a way, the divine wants to communicate to you. It uses your higher self. It's a two-way process. So the divine can link down to you and give you messages, but also in a way you can ask questions. So it's an upload, a download or an upload. And in my opinion, actually channeling, for example, channeling messages. Channeling is a way of downloading information, downloading messages from the divine and bringing them into a form others can understand, or at least you can understand, be it in written or spoken words, be it in songs, be it in artwork, be it in dance, everything that is expressed through you in this dimension is also in a way a download. And for me, even unconsciously, we don't really think about it maybe, but all ideas and all visions you receive, all like realizations about yourself are in a way little downloads from above. And the other way around, you can also connect through your higher self to the divine by asking questions. Something actually that I really, really value still in my life, and I just automatically at some day started years back ago, connecting to my higher self. It was like really feeling into the depth of myself through meditative states and connecting to the inner voice or the voice above, however you feel it. So some may feel it more internally, some feel it more like an above kind of link. But actually it doesn't really matter because it's all around. There's no above or below or left and right in the all that is consciousness or the all that is energy. But it helps, obviously, if you locate it somewhere, to connect more easily with it. Your higher self is also that bypasses your ego, that bypasses lower vibrational emotions, or we can even say that maybe bypasses all emotions because it is just pure love. It combines polarity into oneness. So also your higher self is already vibrating in the same frequency, I would say at least, like the divine. It's a glimpse you can get into the divine through your higher self. It is therefore also not connected with any desires that are from the ego usually. It's not connected with any fears, any judgment, any material concerns or money issues, fears. It's pure love, it's compassion, and it has a big insight, a big wisdom into what your soul wanted to experience here on earth, what your soul came for, what the main topics and tasks are, what your mission maybe is, what your purpose is, and how this path unfolds. So also a benefit of tapping or dating into your higher self is receiving guidance beyond your limited mind, beyond your limited capacity of being in this human body. Because when you connect to your higher self, once you get a broader view of your being, that you're not limited to this physical body and dimension, then you feel like there's something even bigger, all-encompassing me, that I can tap into, that I can connect to receive all answers to my questions, maybe in the right timing, but you can ask and the answers are given if you trust yourself. Because I feel also that maybe an issue with a lot of people that maybe you already hear the voice of your higher self, but you question yourself, or your mind, your ego questions, what are these voices? Are they really true? They don't really make sense. They are not logical. Because your mind wants, and also your ego, want control, want to understand, want maybe even proof of it, scientific proof that something exists or is this way or that way. But the more you let go of this and switch to the quantum field, actually, to the quantum field of possibilities, that you don't always need logical answers. And oftentimes the answers to your questions, questioning your higher self voices inside, or the messages you receive, or the symbols, synchronicities you notice, that it's really up to you if you open yourself or if you close off and stick to your mind and want logical solutions, logical explanations. And I can say, if we want to collectively also, if we want to move forward in our evolution, if we want to expand our consciousness, there comes this turning point of that we cannot explain everything scientifically. Maybe at some point if we have the right tools, but it's even not so much important, I feel at least. Yeah, it's not so much important if you really feel like, okay, this is my truth. And that is what I receive. And these are my answers to my question. This is what I have to do now. Follow that. And the more often you drop the mind questioning, the more often you drop your ego rebelling, the more it becomes a habit actually to follow your inner guidance, your higher self. Because the higher self, the inner voice, the inner guidance, your heart voice or your gut feeling, in a way, and also your intuition, everything is interconnected. Yes, everything is interconnected because it becomes more subtle when you step out of your mind and drop into any of those, what I just mentioned. Intuition, gut feeling, heart, your inner voice, your inner knowing, higher self. Because I feel also our higher self, I mean, that's a concept which is quite spiritually, for some maybe even too spiritual at that moment of time in their path, which is fine. And then they rather think like, okay, this is my intuition telling me this and that. Or this is my heart. This is my inner voice I want to follow. And after that, maybe comes the connection to your higher self. So these are some reasons actually why it is such a valuable thing to connect to your higher self and to make space, to make room to connect to it regularly. That's what I mean by dating your higher self, which is really like making time for it. If you are a control freak and you need everything scheduled, maybe you really put it in your calendar and can at some point really go by your intuition. Okay, now it's time to connect with my higher self. And make space, make room, because the more often you connect, the more easy and automatic it also becomes in everyday life, I can say. From my own experience, by now I actually am so much connected with my higher self that it's as if it's always circulating somewhere around me, or like the little angel sitting on your shoulder is always there. It's always there. And which I also feel like, because I talked a lot about essence, the essence of your being and your identities, where you shift through. When we consciously evolve, I have the impression, and that's at least happening with me. I mean, always when I talk here, I'm talking about my own experiences and share what helped me and how I see things to inspire you. So check in as always if this resonates. But I feel the more we evolve in our own consciousness, the more it expands, so to say. We align automatically our identity with our essence, and our essence is yet again connected with our higher self. Yeah. In a sense, also, it's just terminology that helps us to understand how we are interconnected with everything. So your identity, step by step, comes towards your higher self, because the higher self is love and our essence is love. So the essence also is the soul. And maybe that's now confusing for you with the terminologies, but choose which word fits for you specifically to connect to that version of yourself that is the purest form, that is purely of love and has integrated all parts and all aspects and knows, okay, this here, what this here is about, like this big game the divine plays, your part in it, and you can tap into your wisdom, you can access your wisdom. Wisdom and guidance comes through your higher self. So how do we access the higher self? Maybe you ask that as well. Maybe you have already tried out some things, and you can imagine, obviously, meditation is one go-to tool to connect to your higher self, especially in silence and solitude. Also, spending time in silence and solitude in general, also in nature, because nature gives us a space which is pure of any other energies. If you have too much energies around you that distract you, that subconsciously even distract you, not noticeably maybe, but if you have too much going on outside and you haven't practiced yet to withdraw your energy inside and have your protective shield around, so to say, then it may be difficult to connect to that essence of you, of that higher self. And so meditation, silence, solitude are the go-to tools to connect through your higher self, to your higher self, and through your higher self to the divine. Because in a sense also on that path, on my path at least, it was like connecting to your higher self is like a in-between step before you can connect directly to the divine. Because sometimes also we feel still quite humble or maybe disconnected, a little bit nebulous, like a blurred veil still around us, that we may even feel at some point on our path, I'm not really connected with anything. I'm just connected at some point maybe with myself. And then after you connect with yourself, you connect with your higher self, which is just a higher level of your own being, another perspective even of the same, very same self. And through the self then to the divine. And at some point, actually, you also realize everything is the same. Yourself, the higher self, and the divine, everything is the same. It's just a hierarchy that we created as a concept in our minds to understand and decipher what this is here. And that's sometimes really actually like, oh, yet now I have understood everything. And then the next moment you have dropped it again because you questioned too much or you have been too much again in your head. Dating your higher self means also loving yourself, self-love. Yes, I can say that self-love strengthens the trust in yourself and strengthens also the trust in your soul path, in also even the divine, that everything happens for a reason, that you can laugh about your own drama and illusions at some point at least, or looking back. And yes, presence, mindfulness, all that interplays actually also in meditation, living in the moment, because in that very moment, everything is contained and the purest path, the purest line upwards to your higher self. For some, it may also be very helpful to journal, because actually if you think about it, if you already journal, like who is writing these sentences? Who is writing that? Who's thinking your thoughts? Who is writing your words? Who's speaking your words? You can think about it. And also, of course, sharpen your view, sharpen your focus regarding synchronicities. Very common synchronicities you may know are numbers, are songs, are like and little encounters in everyday life. Maybe it's just one sentence or one word, or maybe someone comes into your life and triggers something. So triggers are also a good way to look into what is actually happening that my higher self, the divine, wants to tell me. And what we have, animals, also animal parts like feathers, very, very common. Yes, there are a lot of synchronicities you will find actually, but numbers are definitely the most common one. Yes. And then some are also very connected with their dreams. So through dreams, you may also want to connect to your higher self, or you can decipher afterwards, was that something that is more significant to reflect upon or to dig deeper. Because we also don't have to always analyze everything. Sometimes it's really just like, okay, this is the guidance. I'm just following the guidance and it's done. And actually also when you connect to your higher self, which again and again, I repeat it, which is connected to the divine. So your direct gateway, your path, your line to get higher wisdom and answers and guidance, to really be your own guru. The more you have that in place, the more actually also you obviously let go of control, and the more peaceful and relaxed life can be. I remember years ago when I was really still controlling and planning in a way my life. I mean, one part of me thought like I'm not really controlling, but I planned a lot, let's say that is. I planned a lot ahead. And through traveling, and anyone who travels also a lot or even just on a holiday, oftentimes, if not always, something goes in another direction as you thought or anticipated. And then you have to really react in that very moment or drop at all your thoughts. Yeah. And just feel like, okay, this is actually, I have to act now in this very moment. So I have to make a fix and very quick decision. And yeah, when you are connected with your higher self, actually, you're always in a state of, I don't really have to control anything. I'm just curious about the unfolding of this very moment because I trust I'm guided. I'm guided to my highest potential. I'm guided to my truth. I'm guided to love. And everything around is just a play. It's just a game. Yes, that's why I feel dating your higher self is so, so important. So if you're not already connected with the higher self, I really invite you to make room, make space for it. Not always following these guided meditations, but really sit in silence just with yourself and hear the voice inside of you talking. Maybe it's first the practice of calming your mind so that you don't think about the past or the future, or about like, okay, what am I doing here now? Yeah. Or about any repetitive, circulative thoughts, that they calm down. And at that point, when you have a little bit more the leash of your thoughts in your hands, then that subtle voice of your higher self can come through. And it's a beautiful process, and it's really a process. So don't force, don't pressure. It should be something you enjoy doing, because when we enjoy doing something, we do it over and over again, or we are looking forward to do it again. And so it becomes more a game as well, and not a to-do on your to-do list or a to-do in your calendar, but really make it most enjoyable as it can be for yourself. Yes. So have much fun and bliss with your self dates on the dates with yourself. In general, also actually dating yourself, not only your higher self, but yourself in total, also your body, also making space really to explore this physical form, I can say, as a balance, as a counterbalance actually to the connection to higher spheres, because all are equally important. If you really want to live your full potential, at least all dimensions are equally important. All right, this was what I wanted to share for today. I see you next week. And whenever you have any questions, any also wishes for topics I should cover or dig more deeper into, please leave me a comment if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music or wherever you feel you listen to. I would really appreciate any reviews or any recommendations. Also, if you want to share something of it with your friends, your family, encounters, because actually whatever I share is a part of you. The more you tap into the frequency of oneness, you know that actually we all remind each other of the very same truth, which is oneness. And yeah, it's funny somehow that if you realize you are me and I am you, and it's just big self-talk we do, it's always, interesting how this divine play works. See you next time.